Welcome back to the Keys to Success podcast. This is your girl, Talisa. I got my girl, Deborah, here. What's going on, Deborah?
What's going on?
And then I have a special guest, you guys. We have a special guest today. And this guest, her name is Rochelle. Rochelle has been in the real estate investing business for some time now. And she recently just finished a fix and flip that's going to be hitting the market. So make sure y'all get them details, all right? But without further ado, Rochelle, thank you so much for joining the show. How
Thank
are
you for
you?
inviting me. I'm good.
Good. So, Rochelle, let's jump right on in. How did you even get started in real estate? Like, how long ago? Like, tell us all the tea.
I started in real estate like the mid 2018, and it all started, believe it or not, family drama. Grandma's house. That's where the journey began with grandma's house. I'm gonna keep a long story short, right? So basically, my dad inherited his mom's home. He had some siblings and things like that going on, and he was the only one paying taxes for years. And then, when it's time to sell, the drama came, and I had people coming up to me with lingo that I didn't understand, like, why don't y'all wholesale it? Why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? So when people come to you talking like that, you're kind of intrigued, like, what does wholesale mean? They telling me I can make money. I don't have to spend money. But of course, I wasn't the main heir, right? Or even the first heir anyway. So anyway, we ended up having to get a lawyer doing a petition. I mean, a partition, not petition, sorry, partition. And the home ended up getting sold. So after that, I'm in Austin, Texas market. So in that area we were in, like people were wholesaling like crazy, crazy, crazy. And so I started looking for somebody to help me because I was like, I don't feel like researching this. You Google and you find out a million ways to do it. I needed to know the right way to do it. So I ended up hooking up with a mentor in Austin, did my first flip, did a couple of hostels after that, started a new building, and that was it.
Wow. So you've kind of dabbled in just about, so you said wholesaling, fix and flip, and then new construction. So
Yep.
I'm really excited to hear about new construction and what that process looks like. So how was that experience for you?
So with the new construction, so I had an agent that I was working with, and I couldn't find a flip. After I finished my first flip, it was just hard finding a flip with the numbers that and the profit that I wanted. So he was like, "Hey, Bastrop is it's up and coming. You should get a lot down there and start building." I'm like, "Dude, I just did my first flip. How now? You talking about coming from the ground?" Okay. So I get on Facebook, I go to Investor Underground. I'm like, what GCs are on here that know how to build a house, right? So then my agent calls me, he's like, I found a lot. And I bought this lot in Bastrop. And come to find out it's I end up finding a GC. Come to find out it's a city lot. He don't like doing city lots. I called the permit office. Oh, it's gonna take like 6 months to even get started. So I sold that lot, got a county lot like the ones he likes to do, started working up the floor plans, and kind of let my GC go from there. And I just learned in the process, took what I learned from him, rinsed and repeat, and did it 6 more times.
Wow. Okay, so there is so much to unpack in everything that you just said, Rochelle. So, okay, before we start talking about the new construction, give us a breakdown of how you decided to jump into that first flip. Was that in Austin? Because the market in Austin is crazy, crazy high.
It wasn't Austin, and I decided because I don't know. I was just like, I got to do something. I mean, I was working 40 hours at the state then, and I was just over it because my lifestyle, I like to shop, I like to travel. I'm doing that on a 40 hour. I'm like, what can I do if I just go out here and do it? So my journey with the fix and flip started because I owned a home. Well, I still own the home. And I don't live in it though; it's rented out. But I pulled equity out of it. So that's how I started my first fix and flip. I pulled 60K out of a home that appraised for like 225, and at the time I owed 98,000 on it, and it was my homestead. And then I ended up renting it out after I pulled the equity out. So that's how I started the journey. And then I had my mentor on the side of me, so it was really comfortable. Even though she made me took lead, made me make the decisions and things like that, and I even had a partner involved on the first one. So and we bought the house for like 185. We put about 60 in it and sold it for 289. We started the flip in September. It was sold by Christmas, and we had our money.
Okay, there's even more stuff that I want to unpack based on what you said there. But I mean, I love this because you are definitely telling people to just step out on faith. But
Yes.
stepping out on faith, but make sure it's calculated, because you did mention a lot of great things about how, one, you had to get a mentor, someone that can guide you and show you the way. They didn't tell you what to do, but they just kind of made sure that you knew why you were answering what you were answering. So if you are listening and you're thinking about getting into this, don't just do this blindly. Find somebody that can mentor you.
Yeah.
Then the other part about it, you said you pulled equity out of your house. People don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So with equity, if you own, a home or whatever, and you get it appraised, let's say the appraisal comes out to 225. Depending on the market, you can pull out 75% of the appraisal price. And you can do whatever you want with that money, but it's added on to your loan. So when I did that, it pulled my loan back up to like 160,000, which was fine because the original mortgage I bought back in 2009. So my original mortgage was like 800. So when I pulled out equity, my mortgage ended up being like 1,400 a month.
Gotcha.
But it was worth it.
So there's several ways that people do it. They could do a HELOC, but in your situation, you kind of just did pulling out the equity like a refinance. But you were able
right,
to get
because if they do a HELOC, it's like a line of credit and you're getting like a second lien on your home. Mm-hmm. So it's a little, but I encourage the HELOC too if you decide to stay in your home, because it's like a line of credit. So once you pay the HELOC, you start all over, So I like both of them. But at that time, it was a little iffy because I was in the process of renting it out, and you're not really supposed to do a HELOC if you're renting it out. So, I was trying to follow the rules.
Gotcha. I like it. Okay. And then you do the fix and flip, but then you're like, the market in Austin is not the best to do fix and flips. Right. And then you go out to Bastrop.
Yep. I go out to Bastrop.
How far is that from Austin?
Bastrop is about 30 minutes.
Okay. So it's like a suburb outside of Austin.
Yeah. It's actually closer to the airport. Austin.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Tesla. Y'all be hearing anything about Tesla? Yeah, it's close to Tesla.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm like, I have so many questions. I'm like, I don't know what.
Go ahead, Deborah. Go ahead.
Okay, my next question is, now you said you're moved over to the new construction, but you talked a little bit about like a land lot or a city lot compared to a county lot. Break that down for us.
So the first one I bought, the city, whenever you do things in the city, the permit process is so much more intense. Like it's good to have everybody licensed, but it's just so much intense. Like they're literally going to come out 10 times at the minimum. With the county, you just get your septic permit, you get your main permit, you go and you don't see them again to the end. So and each county might be different, but for the most part, I think most people will tell you that the city is just way more intense.
Okay. And so when you buy that lot, that's based on, I guess, where you're buying the lot in, depending on what city permits and what county permits you're using?
Right. And a lot of times you're going to know, because if your water bill isn't coming from like city of Bastrop or city of Austin, it's not city water. So a lot of times out of 10, they have a private water system and it's going to be county.
Got it. Gotcha. Okay. So check the water system. Okay.
Yeah. That's good. Thanks, Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
That's great information.
Oh, so, and so you found your general contractor. Did you say you found him on Facebook?
On Investor Underground, I interviewed like 6 or 7. I felt like I almost interviewed like 10 people. I was trying to get that personality thing going because it was hard.
Yeah. So what were you looking for when you were looking to hire your general contractor? What were some of the things that were like, that's a red flag?
I was looking for experience, to be honest. guy that I hired, he had been building for like 15, 20 years. And so I knew he would have a lot more patience because I was a newbie. Not only remind you, I didn't even know what I was doing. So I needed somebody that was gonna have patience, but at the same time, I wanted to also like Google them and see if anything came up. I didn't want it to be somebody new that nobody had time to tell on yet, that ain't hit the internet yet. I was thinking about stuff like that. I was thinking about systems, like what do you do, how am I going to keep in touch, how we do I have to run down here every time you do something, how we doing the money. I was just like all over the place. Materials, what kind of plugs you have, am I going to get some discounts, or everything. Everything.
So who did you use as funding? Did you use your own money to purchase everything?
So for funding my new construction, I use Lone Ranger. They're here in Austin, and I think they fund in Tennessee now.
And are they a hard money lender?
They're a hard money lender.
Okay. What were those terms?
My terms for my new construction was 10% down of the build price and 9%, I believe, on the money that I use. So it was kind of like a line of credit.
Gotcha. And sometimes with the new construction, with the different builders and different lenders, they will make you pay a monthly payment on the entire build price, or will
We're
they
not
do it
doing
based on
that.
the draw? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay, good. It's based on the draw, based on whatever the builder
So I'm
draws you
only
pay.
paying for what I draw. So
Beautiful.
like my first project I did, I needed 205,000 to build. And so I would hold out as long as I could. Can y'all still hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. I would hold out as long as I could so that monthly wasn't building up. So I did. So and when you do these projects, you're using your own money in the beginning, or however you choose to get the money. But like the first 30K, I come out of my own pocket, and so I would hurry and want to get that draw so I can get my money back, right? But also, I would hold out as long as I could, because then once I use that 30K, now I have a monthly payment.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I just want to break down for the people who may be new to this. When Rochelle and Deborah, when they're talking about a draw, when you are getting your hard money loan, they're not going to give you the full amount to get all your construction done and everything all in one whop. They want you to start the work first. So you need to have some sort of reserves, have some sort of capital sitting so that you can start the work. And then once you can prove that you've completed that work, then you can submit your invoice, your receipts, and then you can get reimbursed by your hard money lender. So I just kind of want to break that down for those who may not understand what a draw is and how it works.
Yeah.
So Rochelle, so you used a hard money loan, and then you started construction. And so kind of tell us about the process from you picked out your general contractor, you had to do your blueprints, figure out your design. Can you kind of tell us about what that process was like?
So with my GC, and this is why it is so important to have a knowledgeable GC. Can't just go picking a GC anywhere. You want to get someone that is familiar with that area, because the GC I had, we could literally roll up on a lot and he could run it down like, over here you're gonna only be able to do a 2-story. You're only gonna be able to do a 1-story. It's gonna have to be 1,200 feet. It can't be more than 1,200 feet. Things like that. So when we were doing the blueprint, we had to focus on things like that, how much cement I was going to use. And then we have to submit them to the county for them to approve them. And then in Bastrop, the approval process is like 2 to 3 weeks. So we do that. And once we do that, he starts, doing his stuff on his end. He's ordering, everybody that's going to start doing like the framing. They clear out the lot, of course. They do the clear outs, and then they start doing the framing on the ground, going from the blueprint. He blow up my blueprint, look like a big old picture. And on my page I got pictures of all of that, like the beginning, the staging, then when we go to, not the staging, I'm sorry, the framing, and then once we actually went to sheetrock stage, all of that part, I broke it down. Like the first two, I think I did like the whole process, right? And then when we did all the outs, the plumbing rough out, the electrical rough in, everything. Yeah.
And how
Wow.
long would you say is the build, like buy the lot all the way to the house is finished to put it on the
With
market?
that GC, it was running me about 4 months.
Wow. So
Wow.
he definitely had a set schedule and knew everyone that he needed to connect with to get it going.
Exactly.
And you've
Wow.
done 6 with him so far?
Yes. I've done six, and four of them was partnered. So I did two on my own with my own funding, and then I partnered with four of the other ones.
Okay, okay. And
Wow.
so talk to us about and to our listeners about partnering. What would that look like? What are those terms? I mean, were all the partners that you work with the terms all similar or were they different?
They were all different, and um, one of them I partnered with the GC, right? Because even though he was making money, he was like, I need help with logistic, paper wise. So I was more of his project manager. So I didn't even charge him much, right? And then at the end, I'm gonna be real transparent with y'all. On the last one, he passed away,
Who
and I
did?
was working with his wife,
The
and
GC? Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, so most of the proceeds ended up going to her, and I just took out what I put towards it, and I charged the project management fees.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
So
and
it
so
just
with those
it just depends on the terms because a lot of people want to partner with me because they don't have the experience, but they can do the new construction, so they just need my LLC to run it, and I might do like the paperwork and stuff for them, and I can make 25,000 just doing that, but it not be really my bill.
Right.
nice. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is. And so I wanted to just go back really quick because I know during that whole new construction process, especially for your first one, I know everything is not always rainbows and butterflies.
My
Was
first one was rainbows and butterflies, baby.
no way.
He was awesome. I'm telling y'all, he was awesome. And now, but you know what? It's not rainbows and butterflies now. But with him, it was. Me and my project manager talk about it all the time because me and this man, we never disagreed. We never had issues. If something was wrong, he didn't even tell me about it till it was fixed. Because he didn't. Girl, I got anxiety. Like, what happened? What we gonna do?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't even. He learned my personality. I didn't know half of what went on at the site. At one time, windows got broke. He didn't come to me like, you got to repay for this. Like, so after him, I worked with other GCs. And girl, let's just say I'm free still. Cause see, they play too much.
Wow.
It gets real. But I love that I worked with him because he set the standard that there are GCs out here and showed me what they're supposed to look like and the questions I'm supposed to ask and the stuff that they're supposed to be bringing to the table. I mean, I'm bringing the money to the table, but you need to be bringing the work, and I shouldn't have to babysit you. So he taught me
Right.
all of that.
That is so true because in this job as a real estate investor, I mean, Rochelle, I'm sure you can agree to this. The hardest part is finding reputable contractors
Yes,
that actually do what they said they were going to do.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know you said right now the general contractors aren't as good as your first one. Let's talk about L's. Let's talk about catching those L's, catching those losses. Well, what seemed like losses at the time,
Right.
but may have turned into a lesson. What are
So
some of those that you can tell us about?
I haven't really taken any money losses yet, but I've taken time losses and you get on my nerve losses, things like that. So on my last bill, I was in the middle of a bill when he passed away. And so he had already got all the permits. We hadn't even cleared the lot yet when he passed, but he had got all the permits and everything. So I had this other GC pick it up, and it was just a learning experience because of course he wasn't giving me the same pricing. um Cement apparently had went up. uh a lot of things had just changed within that span on the things that I had planned for this house. So
Mhm.
um the loss was I purchased the lot in February, and we didn't even get to clear the land till July. So, I
Um,
mean, time is money, but I ended up selling it when it hit the market. I sold it in 3 days.
Wow.
So it wasn't like, so I never got to experience having to pay the whole monthly, right? Because at that point, your monthly is high because you've utilized all of the credit limit. So now you're looking at monthlies that are like 3,000, 2,500. But I never got to experience that. So I mean, I ended up profiting six figures on that. So during the process, though, yeah, you feeling like this is going to be a loss. This is somebody new. This is not working. We're getting into it. Like it was just going down in on Bastrop Land. But I mean, we ended up coming out of it. I still ended up with my profit, and I was just like, "Whoa, you just sometimes you just got to get through it."
No, like seriously. And when you just talk about like being on the same page as your team, like how you said your first general contractor, sometimes he wouldn't even notify you. He would just go ahead and just take care of it.
Right,
I feel like making sure that everybody on your team knows what the plan is, knows what the
yep,
strategy is. You guys know that we just had like a huge rainfall. So I don't know if you guys noticed that in between the grass and the cement, there were sometimes these really, really giant ant hills. Did y'all see those?
you know,
There'd be like really giant ant hills in those areas because after the
mhm,
rain had come, all the ants, they already knew what the plan was. Nobody had to ask, hey, what we doing, what we doing.
got you,
Everybody
got
knew
you.
it's time to build up. So the
Yep,
ants
I'm
all
with you.
immediately, that rain started pouring, they started building up that hill, and there was no
Got you.
question about it. And I just think about how sometimes we as humans are so reactive that
Right,
we don't even plan for those threats. And so, a part of being a leader and being an entrepreneur to me is making sure that everybody knows what the exit strategy is, making sure everybody
right,
knows what the plan is. If this threat happens, if interest rates hike up, what's up? What plan are we doing? Are we switching to seller finance? Are we switching to creative finance? What are we doing? If inflation happens, what are we? I feel like everybody needs to
right,
kind of be in like the same lane so that
right.
when those threats occur, we're not scrambling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Very true.
So, anyways, I kind of had to tell y'all about that. So Deborah, what other questions do we have for Rochelle? Because I mean, you've done a new build, you've done a fix and flip, and you've rented it out, and you and Rochelle have kind of done some of those same things. So, what are some of the questions that you have to Rochelle in regards to some of the similar experiences that you guys have had?
Yeah, my biggest question is, would you ever go back to fix and flip after you've done new construction?
Yeah, I do whatever deal they bring me. I just did another deal where I fixed and flipped and I held it, and it's a short term rental now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so now that right, tell us what you're doing right now. What is Rochelle working on right now?
So right now we are surveying land. It's 5 acres. I'm trying to survey that. My plans are to do a modular home community. So I want to do that. Um, I am actively looking for apartment complexes in Texas in the area with that within a 2 hour range. That's what I'm researching right now. But and then actively I'm doing my short term rental, and I just one of the houses I have, I was going to rent it back out, but I got an offer for owner finance, so I'm about to look and see how that looks because it's looking nice. I like the down payment and the whole, the monthly and things like that. So I'm about to see how this owner finance work, and I'm thinking about if it goes good, purchase more homes and do owner finance for people.
I
So
like it. I like it. Okay, so
Heck
much to
yeah.
unpack. Let's start with the
Right?
first part, the 5 acres, modular homes. What type of permitting, what should you be looking for? Like if we have one of our listeners is like, I see land or I have inherited land, how do they know they can put a modular home? How do they know they can get it separated and platted? What do they need to do?
So you're gonna have to contact the county in which the jurisdiction that has jurisdiction over the land. You're gonna have to find out how they are basically classifying that land because you have to be careful with the commercial, the residential. I'm looking at unrestricted land. So basically it's anything goes for the most part. So all I have to figure out now is what you're saying. I need to figure out with them. They have a mobile home permit, but I need to figure out because I'm not doing mobile homes, are they going to want me to do um, regular permits, or are they going to make me do mobile home permits? I don't know if they have a certain one. I haven't seen it online, and when I try to call them, they do not pick up down there. So I'm gonna have to drive down there and figure out, because I did see a mobile home permit. So I'm gonna have to that's the stages I'm in now, trying to figure out what application do y'all want me to fill out,
Gotcha.
and what
And
does
are
it
you already
entail.
under contract with
Yeah,
this house, this land?
I'm not. But the person that has it is a good friend, and so she's trying to figure out if it works for me, because me and the person that's trying to do it, basically she's holding it for us. So
Nice. That's awesome.
Wow. And I got to just unpack because, so I primarily wholesale creative
okay,
deals. And so when you talk about creative deals and those nice down payments and stuff, I just get all jittery in the inside just because, I mean, you see it all day, every day. So
yeah.
kind of tell us, what are the terms of the owner finance deal that you're working with right now?
So they haven't sent me much at all. That's what I'm waiting on, the terms, so my
Okay.
lawyer can review them. But the house is I had it on the market for 359, so they offered me 360 and 10% down so far.
Okay.
Okay. And what are you thinking, Rochelle? Because if you're not going to take that, I think I have some other buyers that could also give you a
I'm
nice
thinking yes.
offer.
The only thing I'm waiting on the for them to call me back about is I want to know the monthly and, like you, the terms, because I want to know when your payment is due, when you gonna get out if you ain't acting right, and then we need to dissect through all of that, because I just don't do well with the eviction process. I can come help you move out, because I just
Right,
don't do well.
right.
I don't do well as a landlord. I'm gonna be honest. So
So
I need to see those terms, and then I'm gonna let my attorney see them, and we'll everything negotiable, so we can see if we can negotiate or what we're gonna do. Because I was actually thinking about making that house a boarding home. So they better come on with the terms.
well, shoot, we might just come on with the terms. So
Right.
okay,
Because
so
I just closed on a seller finance deal.
Okay.
And one thing that I learned in that deal is, like you mentioned, everything is negotiable. Because I literally went to the house expecting me to list it because I am a realtor. And then as we started talking, they were like, they had rented it out for 10 years. And I was like, well, why do you want to get rid of it now? I mean, it's still rent ready to move in. They were tired of dealing with the tenants, but
Yep.
they enjoyed making their monthly money that they were making every month. So then I was like, well, have y'all thought about doing seller financing? And they were like, what is that? I had to explain it to them. And then I said, it's literally whatever terms we come up with. There wasn't
Right.
an underlying loan on it, so there wasn't any other stipulations
Right.
there. And so we were able to come up with the terms of, I purchased it from them for 350. There was no down payment, and I was only paying them $1,200 a month, and
Okay.
that there's a 5-year balloon note at the end of those 5 years. But I cover all the escrow, the insurance, taxes, and I just pay them $1,200 a month, and my first payment is not till January 1st.
And you're responsible for the repairs.
I'm responsible for the repairs, and I
Mhm.
honestly, there was literally maybe $3,000 worth of repairs needed, and it's a 2,500 square foot home, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I mean,
it's
it's
beautiful.
ready to go.
What
And
market are you in?
I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and this house,
Okay, we
in
all in
particular,
Texas then. Okay.
yeah, and this
Okay.
house was in Fort Worth, so I'm able to
Mhm.
rent it out for close to like 25, $2,700 a month.
Okay.
So really, it's up to
Ooh.
you, whatever terms you
I
come
know.
up
That's
with
why
that makes
I
sense.
said I'm gonna let them shoot it first. I don't never throw numbers first. I'm gonna let them shoot it first, because the mortgage on that house, like I was telling y'all, is 1,400. So I'm like, long as they come 24, 25, and I cash flow one stack, I'm good. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Keep us
right.
posted on that. Those are
yeah.
always the good ones. I get
Yeah.
real giddy when I see seller financing because you
And
just like, it can
I
be
asked the agent
anything.
yesterday. I mean, this morning. I said, "Have they came with the terms yet?" He said, "Oh, they coming." He said, "They said it's looking good for you." I said, "Well, I'll let them know when I get it. They don't can't tell me what
Right.
look good for me." Crazy.
and, and so I know that we're throwing out a lot of terms here. So for people who may just now be getting into real estate investing and may not know what seller financing is, what buying creative is, Deborah, do we want to break down to the people what exactly this method of purchasing property is all about?
Yes, yes. So ideally, the best way to describe it is you are able to creatively come up with the terms of purchasing a property from someone else, and you guys work together to come up with the terms. It's not based on a conventional loan, FHA loan. It's none of that. There's not really even a mortgage company involved, but literally you and the landlord or the owner, y'all come up with terms that make sense for them. You usually, if you're buying it from the owner, you're coming up and taking care of the taxes and the insurance. And sometimes the interest rates will vary anywhere from zero interest rates to all the way up to 10, 15%. The down payment again varies from no down payment all the way up to 20%, sometimes somewhere in the middle. The beauty of seller financing is there's not a credit restriction. There's not a bank statement restriction. It's literally whatever you and the owner come up with. And to show good faith, they may ask for bank statements just to see, to make sure you can come up with the terms. Sometimes the verbiage that you see with owner financing may be subject to, where someone will wrap a mortgage around. There's different things that they do with it, but it's a great lucrative way. And especially right now with the market and how things are slowing down, there's a lot of inventory on the market where homes are not selling. So a lot of your sellers, if you don't know this information, you have to get this information, because this is a perfect time to go to a seller. You be the expert if you know this information, and you can work out terms that may be beneficial to the seller and beneficial to you.
And you know what? I just had an agent reach out to me. I haven't spoken to this agent in maybe about 7 months. And he texted me yesterday and he said, Talisa, I got this property. It's been sitting on the market for 85 days. They're just wanting to just sell it at this point. Do you have anything creative that we might be able? I'm like, what you mean? Yes. And surprisingly enough, the house next door, they own that one as well. And now they're considering throwing that one in as well. I mean, so I just say sometimes people just got to kind of sit in the cooker a little bit longer. Let's let them sit in that cooker a little bit longer, because the houses are not flying off the market. This is no longer a seller's market. This is a buyer's market. We've been waiting for this, right? We've been waiting for this, and now it's here. So it's like we got to attack while we can before these interest rates start climbing back down.
Right.
Yes.
That's very true.
So Rochelle, what would you, if you could tell your 18-year-old self what to do differently, or maybe maybe there's nothing to do differently, maybe you do everything the same, what advice would you give to somebody who's just now starting in this, who may be, a bit skeptical? What do you,
Anybody that's 18, like right now, to be honest, I would tell them to explore real estate and trucking. I promise. I would tell them real estate or trucking. Get a mentor, because by the time they reach my age, I don't know how old y'all are, but my age, they'll be good.
That's so true. I tell everybody I know, like, everybody's like chasing a 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 is going to set you up for failure every single time. Learn some specialized knowledge, and I'm guarantee you people are going to blow up your phone trying to pay you because you know this information.
Because my daughter is 23 years old, and she just refuses to work for anybody. She out here trying to figure it out. She went and bought her box truck. She contracts with different companies and does different things. She just like, I refuse to ask somebody if I can go on vacation. I refuse to ask them if I can take off. Like, I'm not doing it. She said, I can't work for nobody.
And she see her mom killing it as a boss. Right. So she's like, I mean, I feel like I can.
And I utilize her too. Like so with her truck, I utilize her also when it comes to getting cabinets and getting stuff to the properties and stuff. I contract with her and pay her to deliver things to the site. So.
Wow. And you guys, Rochelle just said a word right now. Get them kids involved. Shoot. They're going to school or whatnot, but get those kids involved. The best way for them to learn is by them to actually do it. And just like Rochelle, my daughter is 17. And she's working at Target, but she's already come to the conclusion that this is temporary. And I am only here to save this here money so I can get my duplex next year when I turn 18 with this FHA loan. Like she is just like, she's so focused. She's just focused. But similar to your daughter, my daughter, she wants to purchase one of those, like those little dump trailers.
Like the dump trucks.
Yeah, the dump truck, but you can just hook up your truck to it and people can rent it. She
Yeah.
wants to just buy one of those and she want to just rent it out to real estate investors who were
Yep.
into new construction, whatever. She was like, Mom, they might need to drop off mulch or they might need to drop off rocks. And I
Exactly.
want to just charge them $300 a day to rent my little dump trailer. I said, girl, you ain't said nothing but a word.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, you can get in
Yeah.
any part of it. Like, I mean, I've even thought I've delegated everything I can delegate. So my people ask me, don't come up with nothing else for us to do. But I mean, I even think about dumpsters, right? Like a dumpster business, like anything that has to do with real estate, all of the trucking stuff, like 18 wheelers, like how you said, the trailers, all of that, everything that have to do with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But wouldn't y'all believe, wouldn't y'all think like as you create one business, you start realizing, oh, this is an accent to that business. This is another compliment to that
Well,
business.
that's what happened with me. It made me dip once I went from, I mean, like I just followed the chain. Like I went from wholesaling, then I went to fix and flip, then I went to new construction, then I started buying and hold it. And now I'm Airbnb or whatever you want, short term rental, however you want, whatever term you want to use, you know? So it just a domino effect. It's like, okay, if I can do this, okay, if I hold it, what I want to do what I done did long term rental, let me see how I can, maximize off of getting people in and out. I mean, I'm in
Yeah.
Austin during ACL and Formula One. I made a killing. I mean, so it was
That's
wow.
nice.
beautiful.
Yeah. And so, Rochelle, what was that transition like? Because similar to you, I started off wholesaling, which I still do. I don't own any properties myself yet. So, what is that process like from transitioning from wholesaling to fixed flipping and new construction?
So the thing with wholesaling for me, I was looking at properties, and one day I was just like, I'm gonna buy this myself. I'm done wholesaling. I'm purchasing the properties myself because I can wholesale it, yeah, make a quick 15, 20,000. The most I've made is like 10, 15,000. And I was like, I could flip it and make like 80 on this one. So now I actually had somebody come to me with a wholesale deal about a month ago, and I have somebody I partner with at wholesale. So what she does is I send all the information to her and then we split it. And she
Nice.
does all the legwork.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, all
That's
right.
beautiful.
So you guys, you see that there's so many different ways that that you can get into real estate, so many different avenues, so many people to learn from. Rochelle, do you have a coaching program? Do you have like what can the people do to get more of your knowledge?
So my website is www.seasonofpeacerealestateproperties.com. And I'm on every social media. I'm under Rochelle Horton in my personal. I'm Season of Peace Real Estate Properties on Facebook. I am. I just couldn't keep it. That's one thing I regret that I didn't keep my names in alignment. But anyway, so Season of Peace Real Estate Properties on Facebook, Season of Peace Texas on Instagram, and then I'm the flipping brick queen on TikTok.
Okay. All right. Did you guys get that? I hope that y'all got that. So if you want to know more information about, how to get into new construction or anything that Rochelle talked about today, make sure you guys hit her up. Okay. Deba, do we have any final words, any final things that we want to share with the audience or ask Rochelle before we start wrapping things up?
No, the only thing I want to share is, Rochelle, we are so happy to have you on. You have shared so much insight, just your tenacity of you just trying new things. That is more than enough of just sharing how wherever you start does not need to be where you end. Just
Right.
keep trying, connect with more people, ask as many questions as possible because you have just shed a light on a lot of people are like, I don't want to invest in Austin because the market is crazy. It's too high. But you have just literally talked about how you went from wholesaling to new construction to buy and hold, now short-term rental, and you're still doing it in the market in a very, very high market, cash
Right.
flowing. And now you're talking about doing a seller finance deal, doing
Right.
5 acres. I'm telling you guys, if you guys are
Yeah.
not following her, make sure you follow her because just listening to her story, that is inspiration beyond measure.
Yeah.
Man, and to think that it all started with some family drama.
With
Family.
family drama. It's a,
Shoot,
what
that
they say.
family drama
It's a
now.
blessing in the lesson, or what?
You're right. No, that's exactly what a blessing and a lesson right there. Because y'all know how it is dealing with family. But had it not been for that, who
Right.
knows if you would be here right now. So, well, I just want to say, Rochelle, thank you so much for coming on. I hope that we
No
get to
problem.
connect soon. If you're having any speaking events in the Dallas area or anywhere in the Texas area, let us know. We want to come and support our girl.
And y'all let me
Yeah.
know if y'all do something. We're not that far away. We're like going 3 or 4 hours away.
No,
Yeah.
we're not. So maybe we might just do a conference. I mean, I'm
Yes.
just saying.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. Y'all
Well,
have a good one.
thank you
You
so
too.
much.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right. Bye bye.
ladies.